Hello, and welcome you once more to this monthly review. Today we'll take a look at what has caught my attention in the last few weeks, and uh, you know let me quickly share my screen and let's get started. Okay, so first is what we've seen is after a fairly good couple of months, April, May, June, where FII flows was in the positive. July was a washout month, right? Very large FII outflows, which has continued in the first few days of August. So this is something that we need to be cognizant of, especially with the kind of news flow that we are continuously getting around tariffs, around what is happening globally, because every day there is a new announcement by the US president, whether it is related to to India or to some country. I mean, to Japan, China, some country or the other. Every morning, the US president uh, tweets something or the other. So the volatility in news flow, which I was expecting to sort of cool down by the end of June or July, uh, has not happened, and it is in fact right now it has actually increased because uh, today morning I saw that Donald Trump has said that there will be secondary tariffs now being announced for different countries, and it has been announced for Japan. So Japan has had additional tariffs that has been placed. So overall, a very volatile global economic environment, and very difficult now to call out what is going to be the end game here, who's going to win, who's going to lose, what is going to happen, uh, how long is this uncertainty going to persist. I don't think anybody has a very clear idea. Everybody right now is in some kind of a watch and wait and watch kind of mode, and I think that is how everyone, all investors, all political watchers, all economy watchers across the world are right now. And correlating with the serious outflow from the FIIs, we saw in July this continues fall in the overall market. So this is the Nifty 500. So we saw sustained selling week on week coming uh, in the broader markets, and that has also continued in August. Again, like I said before, very difficult to find out what is happening, uh, and what are the longer term implications of what is happening. Uh, One silver lining is that Indian tariff announcements, when it was raised to 50%, the markets did not react very negatively. I think we were like, it was like any other you know normal day. So nothing new. There were no big catastrophic fall that happened because of this announcement, which probably is a good sign. So uh, I don't want to make a market forecast, but at least the indication that market is not falling on bad news is a good thing to take away. Now let me go on to something which is very interesting, and what we are seeing now is that our lives are getting more and more integrated with, in fact, AI is getting more and more integrated with our lives, and it's very very interesting. So a lot of us who people who are in the tech domain, people who are who use technology on a day-to-day basis, people like me, we've started integrating actively AI into our processes, whether it is mostly LLMs, different ones, and how we can better improve our research process and things like that. But uh, there is very, very large application of AI in various domains. So, just like this tweet, Microsoft came out with a study which says that AI powered medical tool is 4 times more successful than human doctors at diagnosing complex ailments. Uh, I remember IBM had a very similar study with their Watson AI, saying that there's a lot more, uh, a lot better judgment which comes in when you are using, AI or using systems. This reminds me of another point that the Nobel Prize winning Daniel Kahneman has said, which is saying, he said that uh, even a rudimentary system is better than people who are taking decisions on basis of their gut feeling. So once you have a repeatable process and a clear laid down system, sys- being driven by systems and processes is much better than doing ad hoc decision making. And using AI, we will see increasingly a lot more of uh, machine plus human integration in software, and that is where the world is going to go to. So things like, another, again, another aspect, or another major use case that we are going to see very soon is language translation, real time language translation. So we are seeing globally there are many challenges with respect to language, right? If you are unable to speak a particular language in a place, or if you are unable to understand that language, real time language translation is very, very powerful, and this is going to become par for the course in, pretty soon. We've already got tools which does language translation on the fly in sort of online meetings, and I'm sure that that is going to get translated into real life. So uh, very, very quick adoption, very, very quick uh, usage or large usage of AI is going to happen. This is going to be unlike a lot of other tech shifts, because if you see, machine learning, AI, all of these did not pick up till the time ChatGPT came into the scene. And one of the reasons, in my opinion, why it has exploded after that is that common people have been able to use it. And the moment you have common people using a particular technology, then it starts exploding. And that is, I think, what has exactly happened. Now, one ramification of more and more integrated AI is that the way our IT sector, especially our IT services sector, is, how it is going to affect our IT sector. Now, there is our IT sector has been sort of born and built up on labor arbitrage, right? We've sort of been the back office of the world, and we've thrown people at the problem. So headcount based, uh, problem solving has what the IT services uh, business model has been. Now that is going to change, or that has already begun changing, because what is happening is, you down the pyramid structure in the IT services organization, which basically means that you have a large base at the bottom, a lot of employees with lower experience, and as the experience number of years start going up, you need less and less people at higher levels of the hierarchy. Now that model is beginning to change, because now you need far lesser people doing the lower end work. So, we've already started seeing large scale automation in things like testing. Now we will see even more. Uh, we are now seeing large scale adoption of uh, usage of AI, at least in coding. So I'm not saying that the entire code is going to be written by AI anytime soon, because there are privacy concerns, there are security concerns related to that. But uh, there is going to be definitely a lot less number of coders required. So the entire model of the IT services is going to get disrupted, and that is not a good, that does not augur well for the country, because a large part of the development and growth of the Indian economy has been on the back of the IT industry. IT industry has employed a lot of people. It has created very high paying jobs compared to the alternatives. It has, helped people go abroad, send back foreign currency back to India. It has also, a secondary thing that very few people talk about is it has sent Indians, middle class Indian, young boys and girls, young men and women out into the world. And when they have returned back to India, they have, they've demanded global products and services, which has in turn enabled the rise of consumerism in India. Uh, so that model is under threat, and it's not something that we should sort of just sweep under the carpet, saying that all tech transfers or tech shifts mean these people will do something else. Definitely people will do something else, but the problem, unlike in many other technology shifts, is that this time, so previously what was happening is people were getting replaced by other people. One set of people with one set of skills were getting replaced with another set of people with another set of skills. This time around, people are getting replaced by machines or algorithms, and that is the challenge, because once the person loses their jobs, it's very difficult for them to figure out what to do next. So this is something where we will keep an eye out and see how it pans out. But right now, doesn't look very good for the long-term implications of the country. Another very interesting thing that we are not talking about, or not talking about enough, is the fact that everybody is talking, including myself, about renewables. I've made a video on nuclear power as a new mega theme. But what we are also seeing on the ground is that, along with the impetus on renewables, we are also seeing very large focus on thermal power as well. Now, if you see, one-fifth of India's installed coal-based capacity, is between 30 to 57 years old, and a lot of them are not as efficient as the modern plants, so they need to be replaced. But right now, because of the dearth in capacity, the government has mandated that we will not sunset any one of these old power plants, and they'll continue to produce power as long as possible. So what is happening is we are also putting in a very large amount of capacity of thermal power. So just in the overall scheme of things, we should not forget that thermal power is also, contributing significantly and is growing in India. And we should not forget that in all our discussions of growth of renewables. The other very interesting thing that is happening is we are seeing a large scale value migration happening in the hospital sector. So, till about 5-7 years back, each city in the country had probably many small nursing homes, small hospitals, maybe a few large hospitals. And slowly what we saw Apollo hospitals coming up in some of the larger cities. Then we saw, Narayana Hridayalaya coming up, but they were, few and far between. Recently, in the last couple of years, what we are seeing is that uh, you hospitals like Manipal, Fortis, Apollo, they are spreading and spreading a lot. So, and they're also doing a lot of mergers and acquisitions. So smaller hospitals, smaller chain hospitals are getting acquired by these larger groups, and also private equity is coming in very large numbers into this space. So essentially we are seeing a movement away from fragmentation to a smaller number of very large pan-India players. So over the next few years, I expect this trend to continue uh, and play out. Similarly, we are also seeing a transition in automobiles, right? We are seeing transition from fossil fuels to hybrids and EVs. And here, I'm just taking a look at the global situation. Like what we saw in the 80s and 90s, global auto in the 80s and 90s was suddenly taken over by the Japanese because of their quality and cost. And what we are seeing now is very similar, but this time it is China which is taking over, and especially the EV space. Now, if I look at China, it has 169 automobile companies, right? And 93 of them have a market share of less than 0.1%. So, which basically means that probably all of them will get wiped out. Uh, so, the competition in China is immense. But once this dust settles down, you will find a few very large players who will dominate the global scene. We already have seen companies like BYD. We are seeing companies like Xiaomi, uh, VinFast from Vietnam. These are reasonably good companies trying to go global. We will also see a lot more companies which were not auto companies. Companies which are maybe electronics companies or doing something completely different and getting into this getting into the auto sector. So this is again something that we will have to continue to monitor in terms of who and what kind of cars are uh, sort of companies are dominating. If you see in the last couple of weeks, and yesterday I think we saw the announcement that Prime Minister Modi is going to visit China on August 31st. Because of the geopolitics right now, the way it is playing out, we can't be sure of how it will play out, but it is possible that Chinese auto companies or overall Chinese companies are once more welcomed into India to offset or to give a deterrence to what US policy making is kind of going on. So if that happens, we can see companies like BYD getting a much better entry into India. Uh, Along with that, we are also seeing Tesla continuing to slide. Now, Tesla, the story is completely different. Uh, a few of my friends who are Tesla bulls, they insist that Tesla is much more than a car company. And we are not discussing Tesla right now. We are just discussing the auto sector. And in that, Tesla continues to lose market share. Uh, and BYD and some of these other Chinese companies continue to gain. So this is again a very interesting story. This is a story of an industry in transition, and one thing for sure is very difficult to know which companies will win versus we know for sure that which companies will lose. This is another very interesting point that I was looking at, and this is about India reaching a fertility rate of less than 2, which is our fertility rate of 1.9, which is the replacement rate. And India has reached this fertility rate at one of the lowest per capita incomes. Now, this is something very interesting because these kind of metric has a very long-term implication of how the economy plays out over the next 20, 30, 40 years. The What that means is increasingly going forward, say 15 years from now or 20 years from now, we will start seeing absolute population declines, because what is happening is, what does population or fertility rate of 1.9 imply? It implies that uh, a man and a woman is having one child. So in one generation, your population is going from two down to one. So again, very long term implications, something again to keep an eye out for. And lastly, I'll close today's session with this very interesting viewpoint on momentum. So I've been doing momentum investing for a long time, and last 1 year has been really bad for momentum. And this comparator is there in the Edelweiss mutual fund website, and very interesting because it lets you compare different factors. And what we see is that in the short term, in the last say 6 months, momentum has actually underperformed pretty much everything else, right? That is the chart here on the left. We can see Nifty, low volatility, Nifty 100, value, quality, everything has given positive returns, whereas all versions and flavors of momentum has given negative returns. But again, if we stretch our time horizon to a longer period, what we find is that this entire basket of momentum actually outperforms pretty much all other strategies. So, like any other strategy, momentum is now going through a period of pain. There is no strategy which continues to deliver, great returns all the time. If that would have happened, then everybody would have been doing only that, and then automatically the returns for that strategy would have disappeared. So, the beauty of factors is that uh, some factor works sometimes, not all the time. So people who invest in momentum, uh, this is a painful period, but the pain is going to subside, and it is going to mean revert. With that, let me close for today. Thanks for watching, and feel free to put in your comments and suggestions in the comment box below.